Welcome again. We're here and we're gonna make a very, very special and delicious cake. Actually, I shouldn't call it a cake. They call it a pie, but I shouldn't call it a pie either. It's something in between a cake and a pie. So it's an orange cake pie, or portocalόπιτα as we call it in Greek. Very easy to make, very few ingredients, very quick process, and extremely delicious. So what do you say? You ready? Let's go get our ingredients. And the ingredients we're gonna need for today for the orange pie or cake are the following. We're gonna need Greek phyllo dough. It's the kind that we make the baklava with. Normally it comes in a packet like this, and we need to open it. It needs to be unthawed, so please have it outside the refrigerator. Eggs, baking powder, yogurt, Greek yogurt, oil, corn oil or vegetable oil, whatever type of a light oil you have, sugar, 2 orange peels, the zest of the orange. And this is for the syrup that I'm going to be having, and it has 2 cups of sugar and the peel of 1 orange in it. And the water that I have right here, which is 3 cups, is going to go in there when the time comes in order for the syrup to be ready. So the first thing that we need to do, and we need to wait for about 2 hours after this, is open up the phyllo. So I'm going to open the phyllo dough. And I have this bowl because I'm going to put it in there. Doesn't matter if it breaks. In the end, we're going to want it broken. And I'm just going to leave it in here. 1 or 2 leaves at a time. And it could be hanging out. So what we need with this is for the phyllo dough to dry. This is going to take a couple of hours. And during those couple of hours, we're going to be coming and kind of messing it around, turning it upside down, because whatever is on air, it's going to dry quicker. So our top layers are going to dry quicker than our bottom layers. So what we need to do is every so often, every 20 minutes, every 30 minutes, just come and mix them up a little bit. If we want to dry it quicker, which I'm not going to do right now, we can put it in the oven, a little bit of warm oven for maybe 10-15 minutes. And as I said, what we want here is for this all to dry. So I'm going to leave this on the side to dry for about 2 hours, and we're going to come back to continue with our orange pie. 2 hours have passed. I have been turning and tossing my phyllo. See? It has become dry. So what I need to do is take all the phyllo and kind of crush it. Doesn't matter how big or small. We're just taking it and cutting it into smaller pieces. I put some to the side so it dries quicker. There we go. We just want to make sure that all the phyllo is cut, that we don't have any whole pieces. See, this is too big. So we want to make sure that this is cut. When we make sure that all the pieces are cut, we're going to start making our orange pie. If you see that some of the pieces are not that dry, you can let it dry a little bit longer. I do have some pieces now that are not 100% dry, so I might let it sit for another 15-20 minutes. So we just play with it a little bit, make sure not too big of pieces are there. Again, we need to have it crushed like this. Just take all my pieces. Okay, so I'm going to let it sit for another 15 minutes and then I'm going to come back so we can finish up our orange pie. So that's the longest part that this cake has. You waiting for the phyllo to dry. Once this has dried, the cake actually takes maybe 5-6 minutes to be made. And this doesn't really require any of your effort. You just have to let it dry. That's all. Okay, see you in 15 minutes. My 15 minutes have passed. My phyllo dough is perfectly dry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my oil. As you see, I'm measuring everything with the same cup. I like using the same cup at everything I make. It makes it easier. My oil and my sugar will go in here. Just going to mix it up a little bit. Mix it up for a couple of minutes. You don't need to use a mixer. You just need to use your whisk and you mix it like this. I've mixed my sugar and my oil. I'm going to slowly add the eggs. I'm just going to break all the eggs. Doesn't require too much mixing, just breaking the eggs. Okay, you see? Everything is there. I'm going to bring this a little closer. Adding my yogurt. 1 cup of yogurt. This is the peel of 2 oranges. So I'm going to add my orange peel as well. And I'm not going to put a full packet of vanilla. Depends on what type of vanilla you have. I'm going to use half of this packet of vanilla sugar. Or if you have vanilla extract, you can use that as well. Maybe half a teaspoon of that. Not too much. I'm going to mix everything really well. And now the last part is my phyllo and my baking powder. The baking powder I'm going to put in after I put the phyllo, or kind of do it interchangeably. So what I want to do is put a little bit of my phyllo and a little bit of my baking powder. And kind of mix it like this until all the phyllo is wet. If you see phyllo sticking up together, you just need to keep mixing it until it's all mixed in. It's going to take up all the phyllo. Keep adding this. We're going to keep doing this until all the phyllo is absorbed. Last of my baking powder. See, it doesn't require any heavy mixing. Very soft until I see that my phyllo is all taken in. It just starts to thicken up a little bit as the phyllo takes in all my liquids. So as I said, I need to mix really well. You need to mix really well. Make sure all the phyllo gets wet. As you saw, I don't put any oranges in there. I just put the orange zest, 2 oranges. Okay, this is good enough. Okay. And what I'm going to do, I use a rectangular pan. If your pan is a little bit bigger, your orange cake is going to be a little bit thinner. If it's a little bit smaller, it's just going to be a little bit thicker. I don't need to oil it. I don't need to flour it. Nothing. Just throw it in the pan. Okay. Move it so it goes all around. And my pie is ready for the oven. Let's go warm the oven up. Oven is ready, warmed up at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. That would make it around 150 degrees Celsius, 150 to 160. So my orange pie needs to go in there. Doesn't require a very high temperature. So at 350 degrees, we're going to bake for about 40 minutes. I'm going to open the oven in about 30 minutes just to turn the pan around to make sure that it doesn't burn or cook more on one side than the other. And that's it. We're going to take it out and then let it cool. In the meantime, we're going to go make our syrup. So while my orange pie is in the oven, I'm going to make my syrup. These are the 2 cups of sugar with 1 orange zest. I took the zest from 1 orange. And I put it in there. And these are 3 cups of water. Again, I use the same cup as I used to measure everything. So 3 cups of water, 2 cups of sugar. I'm going to turn on my fire. I'm going to have it at high at first, and then I'm going to lower it. So it kind of boils for about 10-15 minutes so the sugar and the water can mix evenly. I'm also going to squeeze a little bit of an orange and just throw the orange in there. Throw it with the peel on, as we're going to use it in the end to decorate our pie. So the only thing I'm going to do, if you see the orange kind of getting stuck together, use your spoon to break it up so it goes everywhere. See those big chunks right here? I'm just going to use my spoon to break it up. Okay, we're going to let it boil, and then we're going to lower the heat to a medium heat and let it boil for about 10 minutes. As soon as it comes to a boiling point, medium heat, 10 minutes. 40 minutes have passed and the orange pie smells delicious. Let's open the oven. There we go. It's ready. I'm going to show you. This is what it looks like. It's exactly after 40 minutes in the oven. And what we need to do now is just let it cool off completely. That's going to take a couple of hours before we can put the syrup on top of it. So our cake, pie, whatever you want to call it, needs to be completely cooled off before we throw the, before we put the syrup on top of it. Orange pie is ready. It has cooled off. I left it about 2-3 hours. It needs to be completely cooled off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. I already cut it, but I want to show you that you can cut it like this, square pieces. Or you can cut it triangle, or you can cut it any way you want. So I cut it square. You can see the pieces separate. The reason I cut it is because when I put the syrup on top, the syrup is going to go inside those separations and it's going to make it really moist. So what's going to happen now, I have my syrup over there, which I had boiled. I reheated again because it needs to be really, really hot. It needs to reach boiling point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it on top. Like this. Just going to bring it on the side so it's easier for you to see. I'm going to use all the syrup. Don't think it's a lot. It's going to go all the way to the bottom. And if you see a little bit of syrup on top, it's okay. So we need hot syrup, and we need very, very cool pie. I'm going to help it a little bit go everywhere. I'm going to give it about 30-40 minutes until it cools off after all the syrup has been put on. And then we'll be able to cut it so you can see what it looks like. Delicious and easy cake to make. Now the orange, as you saw that I have in here, I don't throw this out. I have cut it here. I used another one to put so I can show you. So this orange I take and I cut into small pieces, and it could be a decoration like this for the top of my pie. I'm not going to put everything because I want to let it take all the syrup in. But this is the way we're going to put a small piece on every piece of orange pie so we can serve it. Okay, let's wait.